So probably like, do you like run it out of both corners or something? I mean, how many kids are going at the same time? Probably not.
We do this during that we normally do stations, so it'll be about like a quarter of the ice.
Yeah.
I'll put the cones probably about 5 or 6 feet apart up near the blue line. I'll start from behind the goal line.
Got it. So you like probably 8 kids going. Maybe a lot of 3 kids at a station. Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I had done this drill where basically somebody who was asking about quarter ice. I just sort of made the drill up, but I basically had in a quarter ice section had a goalie and a net, and then I had the two girls sort of at the face-off dot facing each other, and a puck there, and then a cone at both dashes. And they started on their knees facing each other, and they basically had to, on the whistle or on go, had to get up from their knees, skate backwards around the cones, pivot, and then race to that puck that was on the dot. And then, whoever got to that puck, was trying to go in and score on the goalie, and whoever was sort of second was trying to catch and sort of push that thing out of the way or something. Just like in that very, very small space, sort of getting them moving, like up to their feet, a couple strides backwards, like very fast, transitioning to forwards as fast as they could go, and then, and then a puck battle, all within sort of like the hash to like the goal line. And they loved that drill. They thought that was amazing because, it had a bunch of different elements to it that was like very, very competitive and had a lot of body contact. So. This one's usually like in the middle is probably, it's like a spotter how to use. Any other contact drills?
I mean, not that just jump out to me.
Steve, you got any good drills you've been doing with the kids?
Sorry, I'm not the best with Zoom. I was trying to get the stupid elf on the shelf squared away before my husband went to bed. I forgot to hit mute, so I'm trying to think what we've been doing. Not really. I don't make the practice plans. I'm not out there every night. Like, I'm a backup.
New England girl. You can tell by the accent.
When another coach can't make it, or if my husband has a work meeting, we kind of take turns. So
yeah,
I feel like they run it, and it's already been talked about a lot, is run a lot of the same over and over and don't
that's there's supposed to be a female orient, like a coaching females, like that's what I'm doing. So I guess you got some of them in there, but sometimes they're not always coaches.
I disagree. But you'd be surprised what those kids could do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we just played that when you did, and I had 5 U8s on the squirt team because I couldn't whole team, and they were better than some of the squirts.
Yeah.
So we had a problem with our tournament that we're going into tomorrow. We have a 8 and under girl, and she's talented. She's not like a game changer. And USA Hockey and the tournament have denied her from playing with our 10U team. So,
what?
Yeah. it's and she's no longer allowed to play any sanction games with our team, and it's torn her apart. Like, she was really looking forward to being a part of the 10 team. She fits in with them skill wise. You know, yeah, she's 8 years old, but like, again, she's not like a game. She's got the right mindset. Anything we could ask for, really. But USA Hockey, she's 8 years old. We're not allowing her to go up and play with the 10U. So I don't know. Our director wrote a huge email to USA Hockey, and like, you know, they're whenever they find these things out and the tournament director squats on it, man, it's there's no challenging it. So it's just kind of disheartening. You know, I mean, it could potentially kind of disrupt some of our team, or maybe her, you know, and it's not like we have a huge plethora of girls to pick from on that team. Like, it is slim pickings at some point in time, and you know, it's just,
That's frustrating.
yeah, it is.
That's weird because Chelsea runs our A team for the girls,
Mhm.
and my daughter's on the B team for the only like girls team in our area.
Yeah.
Because my daughter's a U8, so she plays on the B team.
Right.
And that was how they could play on the highest level, but there's a handful of, and if we didn't do that, we couldn't field the second team.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
wouldn't have an opportunity for these girls to play. That's terrible.
So USA Hockey said, no, you can't have mites playing with the squirts. And we're just like, well, you know,
We do it every weekend.
well, and that's the thing, you know, like,
It has 2 mics on it.
yeah, we played,
My daughter plays on that team every weekend.
maybe we're just being picked on or something. I
Someone
don't,
must have complained, or they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Politics or something. I mean, that's when I was growing up playing hockey in the same area we're in now. The only way we had a team was like we had a cohort of girls who were all a year apart, but every time like we moved, we would all move up. So you'd always have some U10s, U12, and then for the next year we'd be all together, and then like we'd have the U12s would move up, and we would play in U14.
right.
But we just kept that 2 years of girls together. And that was the only way we were playing hockey.
Yeah.
We'd be able to have a team. So
I know. Stinks.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thought that went for you guys. Good. Good. I'm so glad to see that. All right, so I'm going to start calling out a couple groups and kind of work through what your assignment was and tell me how things went for you. So let's start with group number 7. So someone from 7, unmute and talk me through what drill you did, why you chose it, what changes you made, and why.
All right. You ready? Hold on a second. You're on mute.
I'm sorry, I don't know the numbers of groups. I didn't pay attention to that one, so.
Okay.
I think I'm in 7. I don't have it in front of me, but I can just say one of the changes that we made after
Okay.
tonight was, I think our practice plan was pretty decent. What I suggested we do would be to modify one of the drills, a release drill that my kids really like to do.
What about group 6 and 7 right now?
Adding the
I don't know.
coach, the pressure around.
We weren't even talking about anything with
the
practice
D,
plans.
putting pressure on the D as well.
There was some lady, she was
Well,
putting tile up in our
to
kitchen.
have to get another player
She had one of those following cameras, you know?
through the blue line to the next person in line, so it changes.
All right. Let me
space
invite E-Team in here. I don't know if he's in
just
here.
variables with how many players are on the ice.
Anybody else we're missing?
But we were talking. I feel like our practice.
Oh, really?
set up well.
67 days left?
Okay, so what made you choose that drill?
Well, I looked down. Everything we had was like
67 days
typical,
left?
like, you know, the little warm-ups with skating drills and whatever, and then touches with different
Oh yeah, I know. I can't leave though
I
until
forget what I'm trying to picture it in my mind with the orders. But I got
till another hour.
I got down to angle then we had the goalie and then next one, I was like, well, how can I modify something that's easy enough to change, but same drill? So it's like they already know the drill, but you're just changing it a little bit. So it's more game-like or whatever.
Okay, Philip, I think you unmuted.
No, I was following up what Erica was saying, that I've actually found
Wow.
that the breakout is actually more effective.
No, I can probably start now.
More than even the scrimmage. And I think that honestly, maybe we would put that.
I can kind of listen. Do both of them.
Actually more effective. I also only have half ice. So, you know, I guess scrimmage full ice would be as effective, but when you only have half ice, I think the breakout is definitely much more effective.
Okay, Philip, were you in Erica's group?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Anyone else in that group have anything to add?
And group 7 was Alex, Allie, Carolyn, Erica, and Philip. And Philip, I love it because it's scrimmage during practices. Like, let the games be during the weekend and the games.
I mean, I'm getting to the point where it's
Much more athletic player, develop our players.
I like doing soccer more than I do hockey, but I like being out there with my girls,
You know, they're changing shifts and, you know, I guess I'm forced to it, so I'm accustomed to it, but I still think it'd be better even if I ended up full ice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to group number 3. Tell me what your drill was to begin with, and tell me why you thought this was one that you could modify.
And group 3 was Elizabeth, Gretchen, Zach, Adam.
I just gotta move my
Ashley,
camera
Sarah,
here. Hold on a second.
Zachary B.
Talked about more than one. I kind of like what we did for Monkey in the Middle. You guys wanted to do that one?
Yeah, we added a lot to that, so that would be, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just Monkey in the Middle, and some of the constraints were you had to stay within one of the circles, and then you could add additional players who weren't in the middle, and add more pucks. So it was just constantly adding more things, and then adding so there's communication, a simple monkey in the middle, a lot of things to it.
Oh, not today, Oz. Not today.
You know, additional puck and calling your teammates, so communication for that players. So that I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in.
I think that's good. When we started this yesterday, I think the plan as a whole was like bare bones. We shot out a bunch of ideas, and I think after like sitting on it, thinking about it more, like we were able to go back and add some layers to this. But I think making it more game-like tonight, just like adding the names to your pass, adding more pressure. The second puck obviously is not realistic, but it's forcing them to make their decisions faster. So.
Good. And is there anything else in relation to that you took into consideration based on your worksheet with those 5 elements?
Maybe like looking at, does it look like a game?
Oh, it is. It is.
Just, you know, 5 or 6 kids standing around the circle with one kid in the middle.
I'm not even on like board or anything. Those guys
how
put
can
like
we
hours and
make it more
hours,
accepting, make it more
days.
intense? Can you add more pressure to the inside? I don't know if that.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's the kind of thing that we're looking for here. Okay. Group 3, feel like you've given me
$2.99.
enough? Yep, I see some
Oh,
nods.
yeah.
Perfect. All
Yeah,
right,
I'd have to
let's
redo
go
it.
with group number
They're constantly
let's go
checking the
with 8.
videos.
Group number 8. Start off with the drill, why you chose it, and what changes you
Top
made,
Pete
and
action
why
here.
you made those changes.
Valley of Madison, Stacy, and Thomas.
Oh shit! Here we
ahead,
go.
Thomas.
Bryce Eldridge.
We took the approach of
Go.
having 30 skaters,
baby.
4 goalies, 5 coaches.
The corner's got a little something.
That
So I'm
we
just gonna
had
try
2
to.
12U teams, 2 full teams. We decided to break up a 32-minute segment of our practice into 8 minutes,
It's not terrible.
4 8-minute stations. So one of our stations we have
You can go to bed now, Joe.
like a split, split of the quarter of the ice down the middle, let's say.
It's not a god case.
So in the
It's
one
not a
that's
god
going to
case.
be initially it's going to be a 1-on-1 as far as shooting on a goalie, collecting a rebound, trying to score, defense, clearing, helping out your goalie, trying to skate it. We decided to incorporate instead of like just a coach dumping a puck in, throwing it on our goalie, keeping them involved. Goalie making a smart decision on which direction maybe to play the puck. Communicate with your D.
Yeah,
And
foils.
If the D was
Foils
able to,
always been tough.
let's say
technically,
make
yeah.
first play on that
I agree.
puck, carry it up the board first. That gives our forward a chance to work on angling, pursuing with an active stick, and possibly or hopefully create some competitive contact with that. So that's how we evolved, just from shooting and collecting a rebound to try to get some more of those
What up,
other
Plug?
elements into that particular section of our practice.
I'm on coach's out.
Great, Thomas. What I do like is that you not only talked about your goalie,
Here we
but
go,
you were
Royals.
doing a shooting drill. But you
25.
actually looked at what am I doing with my goalie. You said you were having him communicate and working on him
That's
clearing
true,
the
Vargas.
puck in both directions. And so you were actually thinking about how those
One of the
elements are going to
Martins.
affect the goalie as well, which is something that we all need to learn to do more, because the goalies need to be trained as well as the rest of the team. So very good job.
You know,
Anyone in Thomas's group have anything to add to that?
USA Hockey. Just hope she doesn't call my group.
I'm not in Thomas's group, but one thing that just really struck me pretty much to the heart is that our goalie is so outspoken that it would be wonderful to have him start. If there's a puck dump, he's the one doing it.
Okay.
So our goalie, I want to incorporate him more as our
These people are watching
more
my body
coach,
language. Going,
you
what
know,
is he?
like
What is
if
he
there's
talking to himself?
he's the one doing it.
That's awesome. Cola, what group were you in? Do you remember?
Oh, she's in our group.
I think
I
she
think
froze.
she's frozen right now.
Yeah.
My internet is really terrible.
Anyone else in Cola's group have anything to add to what she said? And can you tell me, pick a drill that you guys talked about?
That's our group.
Yeah, so I think we were in group 4, maybe. I'm not really sure what the number was.
That's fine. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah, we also talked
right.
about like a
Chelsea said
quarter
something.
ice one-on-one.
No, Chelsea got it.
Which in its most simplest form would sort of be a
On a 199.
and a near cone, and your forward skates around the far cone, and your D skates around the near cone, and they just
Urena
play
on 150. Yankees.
which I think is a fairly standard drill that you can do in a quarter of ice. But we talked about some modifications to that. Do you have them
Missed the god case.
curled to the middle of the ice so that the D has to play the play sort of in open ice? You have them curl to the boards, so the D has to play to the boards. Play the one-on-one sort of towards the boards. I think we talked about having the D turn their stick over. Maybe that you start the drill with the D having their stick over to give the forward a slight advantage, but also to encourage the defense to position their body
They're diehards,
in a
man.
better way, particularly
They're
along
diehards.
the boards. They don't
You have to do a
sort of
certification every year.
stick,
The SIO here out of 99.
to play the body
68
and
out of
also
99.
to the point about the goalie. If the defender doesn't
Going
have
with
the
Joe.
stick, the goalie's going to have to account for that and perhaps cover that puck, rather than play it if the D isn't, if the D doesn't have a stick. So those are some of the modifications that we talked about.
That's awesome.
I would agree,
I
Steve.
really
Agree.
like, you didn't say these words, but what you were talking about
Jonathan
was
Long out of
teaching competitive
199.
contact.
Yeah.
Jeremy
By taking
Rodriguez
the stick,
to the Mets.
flipping it upside down. So
Mets is LTA.
that's excellent. So even at the 10U, you guys definitely can work towards those concepts, teaching how do we watch the player with the puck? Where do we look? Do we look at the puck? Do we, are we looking at his hands? Where are her hands? Or where are we watching? What are we doing? How do we position our body between the puck and our goalie in the defensive zone? All of those types of things. Sounds like you kind of touched on all of those
runs the
things.
roost and girls hockey.
Very well done, Group 4. Anyone else from Group 4 want to pipe in?
And Chelsea, Christopher, Cola, Dave, and Christine.
I'm all set.
Okay.
Group.
Let's go with group number 10.
Yay.
Group number 10, Dakota, Lisa, Molly, and Sarah.
Another hour left of it, so.
Yeah. And so our group, we were the 19
JJ, here we go.
19
Cardinals is
basically the
liquor in this one. A 75.
group. So we kind of last night we'd actually been doing some improvising of some of our girls and already like planning some, and I liked how we were able to, even in our first warm-up game, we changed a little bit of the structure so that it would be a little bit more engaging for goalies and just kind of split their time so that they could participate in the game.
No, I won't.
But then also have some dedicated warm-up with our one coach who is a dedicated goalie coach outlining their situation. We started
I have to keep checking back to see if it unmuted me.
I'd have to relay it over to Coach Sarah to explain it. But it's essentially
Dante Nori.
And it's kind of a 2-on-2 transition game.
That's a good point.
Was our theme for the practice, and we noticed in our
Lazaro Montes.
original reviews, we graded it as kind of a lower challenge
Bryce
game than
Cunningham.
it was in the middle of practice.
Yankees.
So it was kind of getting
Liquor.
building up to more challenging. So we tried to find ways where we could make it more challenging, such as having one of the players in the who's active and takes the shot. They have to become the backpacker. So just adding some little rules for them, and then we also added the possibility of changing the way that the game was set up in order to change angles for not only the players to be having a different sense of the game, but also the goalies to have a different angle.
Excellent. Sarah, do you want to go over the drill a little more?
Absolutely. It's a game that we call quick shot. So it starts off with 2-on-2. You're trying to get a shot onto your goalie the second that you get the shot off, and it hits the goalie. So, for example, it'll be counted as
This
a shot
girl's
in the
young
game.
enough to be my
You
daughter.
then have to change.
Not really,
If it goes
she
in
could
or
be.
not. But you cross the blue line, then 2 players from your team can now enter the game as well. So essentially, you're trying to 2-on-0. You're trying to quickly get the puck to your side of the net, or to your side of the ice to shoot it on your net, without having any pressure. So this forces them to pick up the puck quickly and make that move and try and get the goal or the shot on net before their 2 defensive, the 2 opposite players who are playing defense catch up to them. It's kind of a continuous thing. And so, like Coach Bradley said, is something to make it a little bit more challenging. We were going to have the player who shot the puck only change.
Michael Arroyo, 150.
Making that a little bit more challenging for the opposite team to try and figure out and get that shot as well, since they have a little bit more of a pressure, and it makes it a little bit easier for the goalies as well.
Great. I like that you guys have incorporated the challenge in making it a little bit harder.
I mean, the one did play the D1
You guys did a
school.
good job thinking about, how to
many
change
girls
the
are, yeah.
constraints in order to be able to
There's 61 people
progress
into the
them,
whole thing.
that
There's
type
a
of
bunch.
thing. All right. Let's do group 1.
Group 1 is DJ.
This one
Cal,
lady does look
Patrick,
like she-
Robert, Serene, Teresa, and Vincent.
I would turn the camera, but I think they'd see it on the screen.
Sure. So we took a look at our practice plan and we identified one that had just lower scores across that we thought we could improve. It's called Puck Wizard Lane.
1, 2,
Basically
3.
it's a standard, right? Navigating through zigzag cones,
Okay.
skating through 2 cones with the goal of shooting at those
I mean,
2 on net.
We definitely missed the
We thought it
color
was fairly
though.
basic, but
And
the
then-
point was to get some quick reps. There were some areas of improvement that we thought
In
we
the
could
God
do.
case, you
For
know?
example, adding some D at the net to increase the competition, gameplay, and the work rest ratio. We thought there was a lot of standing around potentially as well. Another addition
Box
or change could be to
No, I can't do that because the lady watches that.
zones that they would zigzag around for some.
And then if your camera's off,
that would force them to do some.
I'm sure she'd give me a warning, but like,
Posted there, or
I don't want any attention.
just some other physical item they want to go around. And then that would increase the decision-making score. And then another.
I mean, one girl has it on the ceiling,
would
but
be close to the net would be for the fun.
I feel
player,
that.
would be adding a point assigned for the D preventing a goal, not just knocking the puck away, but actually gaining control from. the
Trust me, I put it off as
player.
long as I could.
Finding maybe 2 points to preventing the goal. 1 point
December
scoring the
31st
goal,
is the last
and you
day you can do these
teams
things.
divided within
You're supposed to
that
have a certification before December 31st.
Excellent. It sounds like you did a really good job.
Good point there.
Each of those things.
I know you're
the
military.
fourth thing is actually something that is hugely successful all the way from the 6Us. I still do it. I coach Warrior hockey, which is adult. My age range is 22 to 62. And if I add points to any drill I'm doing, they are way more competitive. So it definitely
Yeah,
has a competitive
that's still the
factor.
military in my
That's
mind.
great. I do have one question for you, and it can be you or anyone else in your group. When you're looking at adding that, changing that one thing, swapping that one thing out for a cone, have you considered putting a kid there?
Young Chan,
I can't
for the
hear you, I'm
Royals.
sorry.
You got too far away again, DJ. Yeah, so
I
we
know, yeah.
talked about what the cone substitute would be, stop them looking down, more heads up, whether it be a coach or depending on how many kids run that drill, having other kids stand there to increase
Just a year?
decision making,
More than I did.
but also keep their head up. So that was one of the things of trying to get away from 100%.
Jason Churio.
That's
Pretty
something
nice.
to consider for sure, because it also makes
It
it
wasn't
more
backwards
game-like.
either. That's
If you have
interesting.
a kid standing there that, even if they're
Theo?
just swinging their stick and
Zay
they're really
Isaac?
trying hard to take the puck away
Alex
from them,
Gordon.
that's still more game-like.
Juan
and it also
Baez
gives-
to the
It's
Brewers.
one extra thing that a child can be doing. At
Dalton
6U,
Rushing,
they can all
199.
move for an hour. And the
Oh,
work rest ratio is successful. So, that's
Ooh.
one thing that I
Cody
think you guys
Bryant.
could add to that element. And that goes for all of you that are working on this type of thing. If you have elements that they're working around, think about using a player as one of those elements. All right, so let's
team's on the
go
board.
to group.
We back.
Group 5 was Jessica, Joshua, Kelly, Laura, Maria, and Tiffany.
Does bring back good memories.
Kind of went over just one specific one. I think it's actually Laura that brought it up in the first place. Were you the one that did Bob Builder? Laura?
Wow, the builder.
Is there something?
Sorry, I'm not off mute. Yes, we mentioned,
Oh,
yeah, it's
you
about
want to
the builder.
explain how it originally works?
Oh, chicks in a bed.
Okay, some of us talked about it yesterday, so I thought it was more widely known, but Bob the Builder, so 2 players, so your group split into 2, your team split into 2 groups. 1 person from each line goes in, and if you possess the puck, you pass it to the next person in line, and then that group is 2, and so on and so you're trying to maintain possession of the puck, and if you have possession, you pass it to the person in line, up to 3 players, but then you can go steal the puck, or the other team gets possession of the puck, they pass it to their player. So very dynamic, ever changing. That's the gist of it.
Get out of your bed.
So then we were trying to make this a little try to get it up to 5s across the board. So we had a few ideas. And we stuck with a few that we thought were the best, but ideas included maybe like shots on goal. If you didn't get it in, you're out. The next now the team has to try to get another person.
Malcolm Moore,
So
Rangers.
we kind of didn't decide that we want to do that one just because like that's kind of a negative instead of like a positive reinforcement. So we kind of left that one.
Jack, Thomas White.
We definitely wanted to
I
get
feel like I'm like the
goalie
ASMR.
involved a little bit more and taking from like adopting from some of the prior stuff today. We thought of like giving the puck to the goalie. So if you're passing to the goalie first, and then the guys come out and they try to work on that rebound, and one person trying to save it or they're both trying to get it, get that rebound piece in there. And then we were thinking maybe more players. So right now the max is 3, and then maybe we would build up to 5. But at the same time, that may not be always the best too. So we kind of got stuck with
Boys, we just had 2 autographed box here.
again,
So maybe we're back.
we want them to be able to pass more. We want this more game.
It's from the same place as the God case.
We want it to be them trying harder and having to make those decisions. So what if instead each pass, like they said earlier, counts as a point? So if I pass to Laura, that's a 1 point. So if she gets it in the goal, we get 1 point. But if Laura passes to Josh and then he puts it in, now we're going to get a 2-point goal. instead
Keaton
of a 1 point
Culpepper.
goal. So not only are you really helping the kids
Versailles.
build their
Nick
passing
Mitchell.
skills, but they're also building on
Joshua Grauer.
being available.
From the A's.
Because if you're available and you get that
That's
extra
LCA.
pass, you're going to get more points. So
Trimble.
it kind of
Taylor.
opens it up and works on the gap and some other things. That's what we were thinking, kind of what we'd go along with. So that was our trying to get everyone involved and up our score a little bit on that one.
That's awesome. And that's definitely a good way to do
On
that.
199.
If you count the passes as points when they score the goal, that's absolutely a good way to do that. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Okay, we got 3 groups left. We're gonna go with group number 9 right now.
Group number 9 is Colleen, John,
79.
Stephen, Zach, Dan, Abby,
right, here we go.
Alyssa, and Peter.
Chase Burns. Let's go. Reds. 150.
I can start.
Higgins Smith, the White
basically,
Sox.
we decided to do the finish 5 drill, and from what
Christian
I interpreted,
Campbell.
that's the drill where
Ooh,
you
Cody Freeman.
pucks in the ice, and then player goes and gets those pucks on the right spots in the ice.
Tom Hightower
and
in
they
the auto.
just end up going and having to shoot or score those pucks, or like
Sean.
passes those pucks into them. Either way, whichever way you want to do it. And so with that, your work to rest ratio would probably be like a
What about
3 because
Christian?
you're having a
I
lot
think
of
we were
players
done
down
now.
the line, or 2 or
If
3 because
three-
you're having 1 player activate in the drill. They have a bunch of decision making skills, so we rated that pretty high because they have to see the puck. So like the point of the drill is puck comes out, they shoot the puck, they have to go in
This is the girl that
their
just
puck for
talks
the
the whole
rebound
time,
and
you know?
then score it. So then
Just
therefore
loves
the
this
point of the
stuff.
drill is to teach them to follow your pass and then also go and follow your rebound and stay accustomed into a small area to be able to obtain that rebound, because if you aren't rushing the net while the rebound comes out, you're going to miss it. You're not going to be close enough in the area. As we were going through it, we talked about how the score was a little bit less for our goalies, but it's good for them because they're still getting different shots and different angles in like different areas of the ice. And then we also talked about ways that we can improve it, and a way that we could have improved it is like for the player that's going to get those pucks, you could have more players into the drill, and so you could like a defender
That's right.
going between the goalie. So
I put a lot of time into it.
opportunity for a screen, and then just explain that to the
Yeah.
players
It's
in
a USA
short
hockey
key
line.
points, however you want to.
Coaches
And
training.
then
I know it's that, but like,
that's pretty much all I.
I'm doing a break while I'm doing
interpreted from the
it.
discussion that we had.
Don't tell anybody.
Perfect. Thank you for speaking for the group. Anyone in group number 9 want to add to that?
Luis Almeida.
wait, what group are you at?
25. My group we went.
Coach Chris said have another goalie stand in to be the screen.
Votto.
Goalies love being screens for other goalies, just FYI. That's like a thing that
Matt
they
Shaw.
think is the best thing
Cole
in the world.
Mathis.
Okay, you guys are doing great. I'm really happy. I hope you guys are all enjoying listening to each other's drills and their thought processes, because
I'm
this is
loving it.
exactly what this whole block is about.
What?
So group number 6, you're next.
Group 6, Natalie, Sharon, Stephen, Timothy, Tom, and
What group are
Sarah.
you guys? I don't remember. The chat remembers.
Chat.
They're listening.
They are.
All right, I can go
10.
for
We were 10.
our group. So we had
Dude, how you guys know
basic
that's a group number? Like,
setup of warm up
6, 7?
stations and some gameplay. And what we decided to do was, by looking at the ratings, we took our chaos puck stick handling station and made it more fun and game-like by making the formerly mentioned, was it King of Chaos? So that was the suggestion of taking pucks away, making it more competitive, adding in a little bit more competitive play and body, let's say competition, to create a little bit more fun within the chaos of the handling.
We also immediately recognized
Oh,
that
and they also said
running
we'd
circles for 5 minutes.
be done at 11 last night,
It's like
and she went like to
silly.
11:05.
And that we should do something like chase the rabbit or something and encourage a little bit more of the, just make it more game like, make it fun. They can do all the same edge work and everything, but it would be a more productive use of time for everyone.
So I'm so glad I saw that thing and I went, my heart's breaking. So I'm glad that you all recognize that. There's so many other ways.
I mean, she was meant to be a hockey player. Her last name is Wing.
I
W-I-N-G.
love that drill more than life itself, but I didn't forego it. That was my favorite to skate as fast as possible. But yes, we recognize it was like all ones across the board.
Yeah, there's definitely ways that you can edit the Russian circles to make them still do Russian circles, and you can even still call them Russian circles. So, Sharon, you go for it. Right, and group number 2 is the last group out.
Here we go.
Group number 2 is Emily, John, Maggie, Chris, Courtney, and Diego.
Walker Jenkins.
So I was the delegated note taker for the group, so I will run
Riku
through. We
Shida,
had
White Sox.
a little bit of overlap with some of the things that have already been said.
Ooh.
The drill we initially started with was
Junior
a
Johnson?
3-on-3 passing drill with a
Look at that pass.
subsequent shot on goal, and we decided to make some improvements to that one to increase the decision making.
I think the boys,
the
Pirates.
feel of the game and make it more fun. So we're going to add a couple of defenders in there, and then, like a lot of the other groups did, we decided to add points per pass, similar to the video we saw earlier, to increase sort of that competitiveness. So that did increase the scores that we
Yeah, did
get for decision making.
I'll put it in a better top loader later.
More
I'm
challenging,
just gonna read
and
through one now.
theorize that would make it more fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Very good. And you're right. By the time we get to
Connor
the
Griffin.
group, it's definitely something
Kenny
you guys have
Kurtz.
heard a lot over and over. So, Chris, if you want to change slides, we're going to some idea here. We want you to put in the chat these 3 things. So, in regards to what has squared your thinking, what we
Ben
need
McTrimble.
is what aligned with what your previous thoughts were before
Carlos
you
Beltran.
came in today for
JJ
day
Woodhull.
2 of your class. And then the second one, what 3 things do you really want to
DeMurray Pena.
remember to take with you
Little
as
Trumbull
you
action
move
again.
out of this
Out
level
of
2
50.
and go into the rest of your hockey season? And then the last one is, what are things that your brain still just kind of spinning around? Questions that you may have, or concepts that you're kind of grappling with. We really want to make sure that you guys know and that we understand that you have been exposed to a lot of material over these last your 2 days of this class. And we want to make sure that you know that we're available to you, and that we know that you had lots of good things coming in. We know that there's things we taught you and we understand that you're still thinking through stuff, and that's perfectly okay. And while you guys are doing that, I want to apologize. I went over just a few minutes, but I will make sure we got every group involved. And I wanted to say thank you for all that you do. We all understand that we're all volunteers out here. And I want you guys to be aware that when you're teaching hockey skills, you're teaching life skills.
$65
As your players grow and move into adulthood, a lot of the things that you teach,
You're welcome, Jeremy.
they're going to
Anytime,
rely
buddy.
on through the rest of their life. So thank you all of your coaching skills, your expertise, and your care. But most of all, thanks for your love for the game.
We got Emiliano
And I
Kyoto,
could go over it all.
Thomas White.
And I love what's coming
Another
in the
gold.
chat.
Holy
I
shit.
always save it to go back
Franklin
and
Arias
read
on the
it. Just a
bookend.
couple things I love when you all
E-team.
said point system. It works so well to incentivize you to get really, really picky at like what is that one thing.
Yeah, a
you
lot of
want to
horizontals right
incentivize,
now.
and point ups that compete factor. But like me, I can't keep track of the points. I love it, but like I am not any good at it. So some things that I've learned is one, if you have a parent that's sitting there, have them like they can sit in the time shack and keep points for you. The other that I love is take your ice marker and write the points down right on the ice. Boom, because I can't keep a clipboard or a whiteboard because I lose it. So, and a pen, like by the time I pull it out, I always have my ice marker with me. And then the other one that I loved, which like
Ice
would be
marker.
really fun for your players too, draw like a giant tic-tac-toe. And if that
Giants.
team gets the point, they
Dakota
come over and put their eyes
$2.99.
all in the tic-tac-toe. So you're playing a couple games at once.
Santa Maria to
So I
$1.99.
love that creativity.
George
that you
Walcott.
brought.
White
Something
Sox.
you can
E-team.
do is just the change of the things you've known, like an obstacle course. Typical obstacle course is we down 3 cones, they have to weave in between them. Then we say something to jump over. But that's a very, very scripted, a very blocked drill. So one of the things you can do to change that is just throw tons of obstacles on the ice. And their head might be down, but then what you do is everybody's out on the ice. So you put it in the corner of the ice and you have all 10, 15 of your players skating around, but they need to do something at the obstacle and let them be creative. They jump, they go under, add a can where they have to like, and add a puck and they have to pass to a partner. They can pop in.
Don't cross, Karen. I'm smiling.
How creative they can be with just a simple obstacle course. And it's so easy to set up because you literally just throw tons of obstacles out there, put some tennis balls out there or whatever.
We got Kellen Lindsay,
And then
X Factor.
one of the things that
Bryce Eldridge. Another orange coming up. Brody Hopkins out of 99.
on the fly, how
You want Steven?
adapt.
Chris Cortez out of 25. Angels.
We don't know.
Angels went to Roland. That's for Roland.
6 years or whatever. So I was having doing competitive.
It's a weird auto.
So they were all like they're younger, they're really first players, and they had to like just sit around inside the circle. So I really wanted competitive contact. Stop moving.
We're just at competitive contact. So
They kept going outside the circle. So obviously, like I got them back in.
Fair
said
question,
to
though.
them, how many of you know what a volcano was? What lava was? They knew lava was really hot. I said, guess what? You're inside the volcano. It's erupting every time you go inside that valley. you're
it's
in
like
lava.
if one person's skating,
So it,
instead of coming over and checking them,
kids like would go out
you're just kind of like merging into them and like following them as they're skating,
so at things
or skate into you when you fall down, but you defense.
yelled at them. Listen, I told you to stay in line.
It's a discretionary
That are really
terminology.
as you adapting it, and really the other coaches to be went, oh, that's so great. We would have thought of that.
Well, the thing is, people do that, Steve.
Do it and
Those referees don't make the calls either.
those things as they go along. So anything, that's what all you.
Yes, sir. I'll get right on
So
it.
thank you for working with each other, and thank you for
Be tough, I think, in this.
listening and allowing that time. And I
Brody
love
Breck
hearing
again?
from all of them, because then when they start.
Connor
The
Griffin.
other one that I really like when you talk about adding, if you like. an
Nick
activity,
Montgomery got a
like
125.
a support, you can do a 2v2, but have players support.
Campbell,
players in the
Tom,
net.
Soto.
And they have to when your team gets possession of the puck in the defensive zone, so the extra players are in the D zone behind the net, they can pass to one of their support players behind the net and activate them. So now it becomes a 3-2. And if a goal is scored off of a pass from a support player, it gets 2 points. And then you can add the goalies in.
Yeah, the program we're in though, they don't put up with the crazy coaches. So
And pass to
you're right, you wouldn't last it in the program.
they get 3 points from act for the goalie being in.
Once you see a parent actually do it,
That's a way to
it's like some turn off.
goalies
You don't want to like replicate it. Like
without
it's
any effort. Plus it
it's like a disease when those parents go off. I'm not saying it's a disease or anything.
So it's really fun when you start to kind of look at that and go, oh,
Oh yeah.
there's so much.
I should show you our team jacket we had this year.
The other thing about the
It's like a varsity jacket, kind of like the Hawks coat, you know?
if you tell players they have to keep track of.
It's the 25th anniversary of our organization.
So, you know, that takes
So,
the pressure off of
the
us.
crazy thing is the guy who runs the organization, he like makes tuxedos for Alex Ovechkin, like Henrik Lundqvist.
Gets the points or whatever gets to go add
He's a
their points.
really well-known and renowned tailor. And since we're so close to the Canadian border, he gets a lot of those, the Toronto players too.
Right, they do. One of the best point systems I ever saw, I was up at Colby College and they were getting, it was a Thursday night practice.
He has a trademark on our logo. Can't even borrow the logo for, he'll sue.
So it was a long.
Kind of how wonky it is.
And end of practice, they had one-on-one corner
This
battles.
one's at the top, man. I'm really telling them where you can go where you, I can't see.
And they did one-on-one.
Oh.
So there was tons of competitive contact.
That's
No
funny
body
though.
checks. They were being too tight. And they, all year long, they had 3 separate teams. It
Oh, I
wasn't all
got
the
kicked out of my
14
baseball game. There was one game I showed up and
So they were
first at bat, the guy
points for their team.
pitcher blew on the outside. It was just a ball, but like it was a ball. And I turned around, umpire punches me out, strike 3. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like that's so outside. He goes, it was a strike, son. I said, that's bullshit. Took off my helmet and I punted it over the backside. Well, I picked up my helmet and walked to my car as he tossed me out of the game. My dad got in the car, we drove home. He didn't say nothing.
So we're gonna do some housekeeping.
I was a fireball in that. When it comes down to competitive sport, I'm
We're gonna kind of roll
kind of
over
nasty,
some of
but
this. Please, if you have any
you know, I
questions.
also did the walk of shame and those types of things and learned a lesson for sure.
To make sure that I give you all the kind of
Jeremy Cabrera out of 150.
level 2. So it's almost easier if you just kind of like unmute and shout it out. Because if you have a question, somebody else does too.
Hagen
So
Smith.
if you look at this flow chart,
Emilio Teodo.
go here
Emiliano.
because you're already right in here.
Nick Morabito.
When you
At
take your level
$2.99.
1, you're taking level 2 this year. So within 24 to 48 hours, the first time I said 24 hours, our servers went down. So it was more like 48 hours. Then the next time I said, oh no, they're back up. Oh no, Amazon servers hit everybody else's servers. So on the
James Sibbs at 3rd.
I'm going to say 48 hours.
Marcelo Mayer.
But it probably is going to be 20.
Juan Baez at a 150.
Your level 2 has been completed. So, and it's going to show
Luis
your
Aldia.
expiration date, not yours.
He's
but
like a
your
guaranteed auto in these cases.
expiration date will be 2026. So next year, all of you would then need to take your level 3. And that's for all of you.
You,
It
Mark?
doesn't matter what age group you're coaching because you're now
That's why I keep it in the
over
lineup.
here in this continuum.
Take a
And
screenshot.
you can only take 1 clinic a year. And the reason for that is we want you to put into use what we've worked on. And it takes a lot of, when we talk about neural pathways, and those are the pathways that your brain creates and creates pathways for new learning, and it has to be done over and over again for it to become sticky and we kind of internalize it. So we want to
Vladimir, where you go?
some of the stuff
Brewer?
that we've just gone over. And so next year you're level
Max Clark.
3. And then if you and then you go
Seaver
to
King
level 4,
out of
you
99.
don't ever have to like
Going to
take
Joe.
level 5. That's
Victor.
completely voluntary. And if you feel like you can continue to coach and get other education in, that's fine. After level 4, then you have 3 years with your level 4 to get 5 continuing ed credits. Where you are a level 2, soon to be a level 3 coaching. And
Chase Burns.
Continuing education.
Brandon Phillips.
Credits.
Ooh, out
And
of
if you go to
10.
the
Yo,
bottom of the
Jeremy.
coaching profile
That's
page,
30.
it has a whole mess.
Aaron
of
Namala.
the bronze goalie points on there, but incorporating goalies in practice.
No, not
is
yet,
into
Mark.
one
Not yet.
continuing ed. There's coaching her. There are modules on our site, and you get a continuing ed credit for that. I'm working on getting 2 continuing ed credits for that because
That's nice, man.
they've added some more modules. So there's tons on there.
Yeah,
There's
nice.
Stop
Very
the
nice.
Bleed, there's NHL, some of the stuff that they do. So if you're someone who would
Kadeem Daya,
some more or whatever,
Twins.
there's some great, and our player development managers deliver a lot too, which are really, really good. So this is what we now call it, Dashivo is our new IT
Ooh,
vendor.
O'Connor.
USA Hockey.
Oh, wow.
Long time
Out of
coming.
199.
We have been waiting for this
Boys.
for so long because
Spencer Nivens,
probably even
the
last
Royals.
year when well, maybe
Kevin.
maybe it will be in your
Juan Baez at a
just look up
150.
in 2 months because they were delivered.
Eduardo Tate on the auto.
By hand.
To the
So
Phillies.
USA Hockey
LCA.
invested in a new IT company, and what they did is they built our LMS, learning management system, for our coaches, for our coaching education platform. So all of you
No
have
way.
been in and seen it because you're here tonight. And this is called
You can say
your
goodnight.
coaching profile page or your coaches page.
Mhm.
This is your learning center. On
Thank
the
you.
left of your dashboard,
Right.
that's something you want to know. That's going to have your SSO. That's your single sign-on. That's your USA Hockey username. Write it down somewhere. Screenshot it, because that's not an easy one for you. Like, you can't send an automated, give me my SSO.
You do, Jeremy?
That's not the way it works. You'd have to wait till somebody in
Michael Arroyo.
member services can get it for you. Your password, that's an easy one to reset. But your SSO, that will also tell you, like, you can click on it and see how many continuing ed credit you have, what's for. You can go in and say you've completed your level 2 and it's going to have a certificate for you. You can print it out and registrar or screenshot it. So tons of information over here. But you look, and remember, you want Safe Sport and background screen to be
Somebody's making
green.
noise
If
in
it's
there.
red, take care of it immediately because your registrar is going to have a heart attack. And your team can be, just so all of you know, if you're on the bench and your Safe Sport is red or it's expired or your background screen and any injury happens, our insurance company or your insurance company can default and say, no, you had a non-qualified coach on the bench. So none of us want that to happen. So that's why it's really important. That's why your registrars give you a really hard time because they want to make
Hey,
sure
Chris.
that all of our kids get that insurance if they need it. Yeah, Peter.
Sorry to cut you off, but so the Safe Sport thing, mine is expiring here in
He's
like
not.
5 days.
It's
And
on
I tried
purpose.
to go online to renew it, and every time I click on it to go renew it, it says error 500.
All right. So
So I was wondering if you knew what that meant or what's going on. If the server was down, I tried it. Or
Peter, are you going through, because USA Hockey doesn't do Safe Sports by USLPC, United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. We send teams to the Olympics, so we have to follow their policies.
Right.
Did you get an email from them like 30 days ago, 10 days ago?
Yeah, I got an email from it and it had the link, and I tried to click that link and it wouldn't put me through either.
So go there's a number on there to call for Safe Sport, go in and call it. And they're really
Okay.
good about
Couple
answering.
one buys is so.
And so document all that, Peter, too, so that you can go back to your registrar and say, these are the steps that I did, and I have a call into them.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome, because that's an important one. And you're gonna have like right here is what we call that.
Not bad.
I'm working on my disabled module, so that's in progress for me. And then right now, this box right here, in 24 hours is gonna say completed, and that one that's completed right now is your level 2. As soon as that is completed, this is gonna pop up on the left, and it's gonna say chant. So what that's referring to are these 3 clipboards. Don't ever have to do that. You know, those are going to take away level 2. You're not going to kick off the bench. But they're really meant for just a bonus. You can do that. You don't have to do it now. You can do it a month from now, whenever you want to. But the clipboard is just reflection on this. You know that you need to keep reflecting on what we've done. Many times since I've done all of these clinics, I've always been looking at the 5 elements, and I always get 4, and what was the 5th one? So it's a reflection again for you for those touch points. The next one is a knowledge check. It's a test, but you can't. Well, you could fail it, but you're not going to fail it and get balanced out. Really
Boys, yeah, that's so true.
Knowledge check for one.
Yep, we got picky now.
We have learning objectives for every single block that we do,
Right.
for every level that we do. They want to see, did
Here we
we
go.
get our learning objectives? They want the data. So if 90% of you could tell, you know,
Travis was that.
observation,
Let's go.
they know they
Guardians go to
have
LCA.
but if only 20%
175.
you can give them that 5
Brett.
elements, they know, you know, they're not meeting the
Josh
learning
Karen.
objectives of that.
I'm 99.
That
No,
Same
wow.
as
447.
developers, we look at that data to see, man,
Bryce
we
Eldridge
blew it on that.
for the second time tonight.
What can we do? So the knowledge check is good because it's another reflection. It's data that we really need to have.
Seriously.
You know, keep improving, keep staying.
Is Walt in there? Walt had him last time, but he struck out.
Clipboard unlocks and it's a resource guide.
Yeah,
it
decent
will
case.
have everything. It will have all the clips that we've gone over tonight. If you want to watch Patrick Kane, just so you know, if you watch Patrick Kane in the video, he actually states over some of the pucks. And probably 3 years ago, one of the graphic artists for our video clips was on the clinic that I was doing. He said, oh yeah, my job was to put more pucks on the ice, so it looked more difficult. So some of those pucks were drawn in, so it's quite hysterical to watch. So you could watch that over and over again, see if you can see him like skating over the pucks. But it's really good because it's going to have
Nick Kurt's number. Here we go.
learning objectives right there for every single block.
On a
that we
150.
did. So and then it's
Bryce
going to
Rayner.
have tons of other resources
Leo.
like
Brandon Sprota, 25 to the Mets.
if you're 12, you on a co-ed team,
Is that your hope?
we call them,
Nice one.
and you want to get
Boys.
the players ready for body checking at 14, you win the game. So they have a great PDF of teaching body checking. The beginning steps of body checking is really
Yo,
good.
Reno, what's up?
It will take you to all the resources.
I'm on the cooking training thing.
And what they do.
So I'm
So
kind of whispering.
our website has so much information, but it's
The
really
Zoom,
hard to
live Zoom meeting.
some other plans, for all if you're in the Minnesota area. The
Always
the
hope for hope.
Hockey World Junior Championships are going to be in Minnesota this year. So if you've ever had the opportunity to see international play or World Championships, they're so much fun. They're really, you talk about like it's just electric. And we're on our
St. Paul, Minnesota.
home soil. I had the
World Junior
pleasure of
Championships.
watching the Women's Worlds a year ago, and they were in New York.
Good-
And it
good
was
pack,
amazing.
good
Of
boxing.
course, it came to the US and Canada. And Canada won in overtime for the gold medal. But our world junior team has won 2 gold medals the last 2 years. So they're looking to get their 3rd gold medal. And those
Bryce
most of our
Eldridge.
players come from our national team development program.
Slade Caldwell.
Along
These are some nice names. I wonder if something else is coming out of this.
games and the weekend of the finals, they're
Louise?
going for continuing education credits. So they're gonna take advantage of having some international coaches there, that weekend. So that will be fun. And then, here's another QR code, but you can also have access to this at any time. But this is what, Zach Nowak, who is part of the coaching education program, but he's also overseeing our LMS and everything else. He's just created
I know.
you know, success. So UA Hockey has
A lot of Minnesotans in here.
If you click on that, it has a lot of different ones that are really good. It's a link to our learning center, some off ice, you know, stuff to do with your players off ice, a whole,
Cliff Lee.
what do you do for 6 U's, really fun kind of things to do.
Christian Moore.
And then practice planning, there's all kind of practice
DeAndre
planning, guys, practice planning.
Carson Rucker at a 199.
Coaching app, and then USA Hockey.
Walker Janik at a 199 for the Astros.
Nation and ADM kids,
Going to
which is
Steven.
really good, like the American Development Model. So that's a great QR code that will be in your slides when you get.
No, but a bunch of
So,
people that I met
anybody
in the
have
breakout
any
rooms.
Questions on?
Yeah,
any
sorry.
of, what I just went over. Oh, perfect. I love that. Let me jump in. I do want to, let's see, there we go. Anybody have any highlights while I'm switching my screen that we want to share? Not highlights, or something that stands out for you about a discussion at the end of our blocks last night when we went into the coaches of females and female coaches.
Michael Arroyo. Luke Bishop. Hagen Smith.
I'll share out. I appreciate
Colin
you
Houck.
sharing those videos, and I've passed
Kadeem
it along
Dial.
to some friends that are female athletes or
Ken
have
Reddy.
daughters that are athletes, and I shared it with my the coaches that I'm working with this year. So
That's the bad
the
lady.
ripple
That's the
effect,
lady
I
in the
feel
back.
like I appreciated seeing it, and then I want to pass it along too.
Oh, thanks, Laura. I know, and it's,
Was it Cora?
yeah, because you like
Cooper Pratt.
things, you know, and they know, and we do a video in our level 4s is using cricket, and every time I do it, then everything pops up in my browser. I'm like, oh, you want to learn more about cricket? So Laura, that's where I get them a lot of times. They pop up like, oh,
This video was very
female athlete, you're interested in
female
coaches,
dominant.
here's the thing. But yeah, I love that. So, and you're right, sometimes it's that awareness. And I know staying after, we had a coach just asking some great questions about really specific things about how do I
knew it was broken.
I got it, but I also, you know, coaching.
We haven't had a bad top loader in a while. Knock on wood.
You know, what is this confidence thing? And we know, we look at
There's another
social
corner
media
busted.
that women in our society, young girls, female, are judged a little differently.
That's
You know,
better.
that the judgment's there. We feel it as a female, we feel it every day. And I'm not saying
Appreciate you guys
I'm
dealing
judged
with
or
it. Keep
judged.
putting up with it.
I have a son, and sometimes I felt the box he was in was much smaller than what my daughter's box could be. He's the way he's tough, they don't cry, they do this or whatever. But you know, we really want to look at some of the things that girls that also have an impact on our females in that coaching world. Why? You know they're not going to act to judge them. Knowing what we can do is definitely a benefit for all of us. So one of the things that a lot of the data that I've taken from is We Coach, which is Women in Coaching, and great support. I just did a webinar of theirs today on training for that female athlete, and it went over tons of stuff.
So the
that
boys
they do
play
lots
good
of
to feel
data,
good.
lots of
Girls
training.
feel good to play good.
And I also used the 10% of the research at the University of Minnesota, research on girls and women in sport. And these are two big ones. Gatorade's starting to do and fund a lot of research, as is Nike. Unfortunately, Nike's doing it because they were sued by some of their female athletes that requested time off so they could harvest eggs and freeze them, because our female athletes have been told we need to have a BMI of 0 to stay on the team, and that was probably 10 years ago. And because of that, they don't menstruate, they don't, and for a long time they have eating disorders, bone weaknesses. Nike said no. And women are high-level athletes, and they basically just being an athlete, that's what they did. But then when they stopped and retired, they couldn't get pregnant because their bodies were so depleted of what they needed, so they sued Nike. And Nike realized at that time, we train athletes, but we need to train female athletes different than we train male athletes, which is different, and that's okay. So that's where so much of this research now is coming. As Billie Jean King said, we haven't done research on women. Some of the myth has been women haven't, up until like 20, 25 years ago, women weren't allowed to compete in a marathon or long distances because it was thought that their uterus might fall out. I don't know about you, I've done a lot of running, but I've never seen anybody's uterus fall out. So we can go in and go, what the heck? But these are myths, these are things out there that we're working really hard to really dispel, to really say, wait a minute, we know now female bodies are different. But here's some general adage: boys play good to feel good. If they walk away from the game, they feel great. But girls need to feel good to play good. So it's really important to build that relationship with your female players. They need to know their team's in harmony, their others are. They need that confidence to play good. But we also know that before 20, women have lower confidence in girls. So, what are things you can do? They're very, very hypersensitive, and some of that is, definitely that lack of confidence. Then is like, oh, I must have done something wrong. They didn't do it right. Like, I'm not fast enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not pretty enough. So all of those things add into that, and then they become, if you make general statements.
They're probably all looking at me. Cameras are like movement sensitive.
So it doesn't mean that you can't,
got me on that
want to let them know what they're doing wrong, but also understand general statements are going to be taken differently. Mostly your females from your males. I coached my middle school team for years, and if I would have said they came in and they were predominantly boys on my team, I always had 2 or 3 girls every year. But if I came in and said that was the worst period we've ever played, my boys would look at each other and go, oh yeah, Jack, he really sucked this period. Like,
Kellen Lindsay.
Go home right now. Where the girls would look at me with those eyes going like, oh my God, coach hates me. I might as well just go in and get undressed right now. So it's something that's why sports are so good, because it gives them that, no, we got to battle through. It's all right. It's okay to fail. It's okay. And what can you do? So no, and it's one of those things. One of our coach developers in Texas always says that one of the things she has to be careful, she's an eye roller.
She talks a lot.
And we know if you work with, teenage girls, they're really good at rolling their eyes. And I guess that continues. But she said on the bench, like if I didn't like a play, I don't say anything, but my body language, my eyes roll. So she said, my players now have learned, coach, you're doing it. You're doing it. You're not saying anything, but we can tell. So they're really good at picking up nuances because they've been told, don't use your voice. So instead, they sit and they watch and they listen. And they like to please others because nice girls take care of each other, which is great. And that's part of that nurturing. We don't want them to please you so much that they're not willing to take that chance, or they're not willing to go away from the boards. And they'll accept blame a lot.
Chandler
So
Simpson.
some of the studies, and some of these are been done in the last 2 years, so it's really recent. 70% of our girls, these are high school girls, feel disrespected and unsupported in sports settings. due to stereotypical views about their capabilities. So they drop out. And some of that, as our girls are getting
I'll
to
show you
be
what she
like
looks like.
14,
This is an old
15,
video.
when they hear, you know, oh, girls can't
Give me
play
a sec.
hockey, you're not fast enough, it's not strong enough, or whatever. They
Cooper
drop
Pratt,
out. So it's really
$2.99.
important for all of us that are involved in our females in hockey that
Damn.
we, you know, we
Dante
continue
Noria
to
at
demand
25.
respect. If you go to a tournament and you hear those
Nick
things
Morabito
from
on the
other
auto.
players, let their coaches know, let their association know. You know, and because I get a lot of calls that say, oh, we want to do a safe sport. You know, we want to report it to safe sport. My thing is you can, but the best thing to do is let the adults know that's happening. And again, that kind of goes over, we know that programs with transgender sensitive approaches reported 25 higher percentage retention rate. So one of the reasons I do this is I do it for the coaches, I do it for all of you to just put some knowledge out there, but I also know the trickle down effect is for our young girls who are playing. I want to see them to keep playing, no matter what, you know, where they go. It gives them so many skills that are so valuable, and the sport is so great. So, and like we said, you know, 94% of our executives play.
I hope not.
So we want to keep them in there. So by you just thinking about that makes it really important. And then the other one is inclusive language. One of the clips, and I'm not going to jump into it, but it's this young girl with a daughter and they're skiing, but there was a reservoir and the girl stopped and said to the mom, what's that over there? And the mom said, reservoir. And the girl said, what's that? And she said, well, it's a man-made, you know, place for water. And she went, man-made, so that means like I can't go over there because I'm not a man. And mom said, well, no, it's a
She really
human
might be.
made. And she said, well, am I a human? And so it's really language matters, and especially for our younger players. So we really need to think about how can we, you know, if we go back to inclusive language, what changes can you make to make sure that your female players feel they're part of the game? Anybody want to jump out and give some terms right away that are not gender neutral?
I would just like to say man is everybody, women are special, and we have our own name. Manhood is everybody. That made us not special. But women, like, I mean, I call all my players are guys.
Ethan Anderson.
All are dudes.
Yeah. And then think about, because young girls
Nathan
see the
Llewellyn.
term of guys as being male.
Carson DiMartini.
And when they did a study of second graders,
Phillies.
when a classroom used, okay, guys, bring it in or whatever, the girls didn't raise their hand and didn't participate. When they used, okay, you know, students or names or whatever, then they found that girls participated like 90% higher. And when they asked the girls, they went,
I don't know
well,
what
when you
she's
say
reading.
guys, you're talking to the boys. So, but Cole, if your team knows you're recognizing all of that, and absolutely. Yeah, so I love that. Defensemen, absolutely. Defensemen, what can you use instead? What would be inclusive language to use? Yeah, or defender. Man up. I'm not a man, but I'm a player up. So player up, you know, shorthand. So think of those. And I know that you think, oh, that doesn't. I sat in on, we had a rule change year coming up last year. So BJ Ringwald, who is in our referee
Trying to
and
keep a
chief
straight
for
face.
USA Hockey, did many presentations. And every single time,
Not really.
he always said the referee and the lines person.
Carter
And I
Johnson.
walked away from that and went,
Marlins.
you know what? I love the fact that
Austin
he
Bateman.
said lines person every time. I felt like I could
Out of
be a lines
99.
person. So it does matter.
Sure.
So think about it.
Mhm.
And if you ask the girls,
Roman
is it
Anthony.
okay if I call you a defenseman or whatever? They're
Joffrey
going to say yes
Solano.
because they want to please you. But if you just start making some of those tweaks, it makes a huge,
Nice person.
huge
Yep.
difference. Yeah. So absolutely. And I do all of those books that you've mentioned. I don't know if you can see right behind me, but they're all back in there that I've read. The last one that I had, Quit Being So Good. And it's really meant for teenage girls, you know, whatever. So using words that are meaningful and have descriptors, being very specific. Encourage female athletes to be athletes. What does it mean to be an athlete? It's okay. It's okay to get sweaty. It's okay to get stronger. If you tell them they're going to get bigger when they lift, they're going to freak out. Because 15-year-old girls don't want to get bigger. But they can understand, oh, we're going to get stronger. We understand that to become a stronger hockey player. Yeah, Jessica, it looked like
I just have to say they or them no,
Oh, the whole,
all
I
the
used
time,
to do personal
just so
training
I'm
for
backing
7
myself
years,
up at
and
school.
I had a lot of women coming to me
Hey,
and
Jessica.
saying, I don't want to lift those heavier weights. I don't want to pull up. And I go, I lift heavy weights. Do I look bulky? And they're like, no. What are you worried about? Yeah. I'm not telling you to lift 200 pounds. I'm asking you to lift a 50-pound dumbbell instead of a 10. You can do it. And it's the thought process of like not looking feminine anymore. It's like that's shouldn't be a thought. And the sweaty thing, my daughter, when she gets off, if she's not sweaty, we're like, why are you here?
Yeah.
So she goes, Mom. Now she goes, Mom, to my head. And I'm like, ew, I love it.
I know. Yeah, sweaty faces. You got little ones.
Yeah, I tried it and I do that with all my girl players. I'm like, are you sweaty?
Yeah.
Why aren't you sweaty?
Yeah.
You should be stinky right now. I want you to smell so bad because that's part of what working out is.
Yeah, and that's what
They don't have sweat glands to produce smell yet when they're really young.
Social media is the
Should I say,
aftermath of the athletes,
step up and
it
say
looks
that?
So great, picture perfect in the NIL.
That's a health teacher. Man.
So let them know when you get down and dirty, it's not pleasant for
Just hear what you
smelling
said.
or anything else.
When you get down and dirty, it
And
doesn't feel
find
pleasant.
your voice. Allow them to develop locker room policies, locker room, you know, and encourage
I just want my
them to
certification. So
participate in their team because that helps them with that, you know, they keep themselves safe because we're really judgmental of each other. The female are really judgmental because we know other people are going to judge
You
us.
get
So
down
we
and dirty,
judge
man.
first kind of thing. We're going to, you know, we're going to be the snake that kind of goes in there first. So it's really something that, you know, is important that you allow them to have that courage to know themselves. Setting goals is really important. Think about your locker room policy. If you have a co-ed team, I would highly suggest that you adopt that base player policy. Every single and all of your players come to the locker room together. 3 of your girls go into a different place of change. It's not okay. They're part of your team. What you're saying to them, they're really not part of our team. You can come in the last 10 minutes. I know it's awkward and people worry. So if all of your players come dressed in their base layer, if they're not, they have to go to the bathroom to change. Because that's what girls have always done. And if any of you have had to dress in the bathroom, it's gross. You have to get out of your socks, change your socks, and you're on the bathroom floor, your bare feet. Stalls are really small.
Trying to get me in trouble.
You're not going to dress out the open of the bathroom. It's not pleasant. Some of your
Well, it's supposed to end at 11, so we're almost there.
But again, if they're part of your team, make them be part of the team.
Alex
Base
Clemmy.
layers. That's a Hockey Canada adopted that like 3
$1.99.
years ago, and I love it. Everybody is responsible.
Ramon Ramirez.
It's not about gender.
Rodney
and
Green.
celebrating your players for who they are.
Seattle.
And
Cali.
knowing, you know, that everything else. And then what to include in your team bag. So if we go back, tell me some of the things that those of you that are coaching or have girls on your team or coaching a girls team, what's in your coaching bag? Besides tape, screws, and screwdriver and tape wax.
Hair ties.
Obviously. Yeah, hair ties.
Braylon
Yeah.
Payne.
And I love it, Timothy. I've said it.
Thomas
before.
White.
Yep. I went out and bought home as a hair
Dylan
ties
had out
for
of
it in our
50.
colors. And then I convinced our pro shop to actually sell
Pablo
it in the pro
Guerrero.
shop.
Okay.
Absolutely. Hair ties. So important.
Different in that
And
picture.
along that note, if your girls are going to go to tryouts, tell them they really should braid their hair or really pull it back tight. Because when they have long hair, it's hanging in front of their numbers, the bib they wear. nope, you can't see their numbers at all. And after a while, you just give up. Like, you know, I don't know who that player is. So that's important. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And yeah, and definitely, yeah, rubber bands.
It's a lot though. No.
But pads and tampons, all of you should have them. Even
tampons.
if it's somewhere. And I know girls are going to be really funny. If you tell them where it is, they know. Like I had 19 new girls. They knew my coaching bag had. And I asked them, you know, what brands do you want? And I made sure that I had the brands that they wanted in my coaching bag and just put it in there. And they knew where the hair ties were. And they absolutely knew in that bag, there were chocolates and gummies and things like that. 'Cause when they're having their period, they need chocolate to recoup and they need gummies because gummies are really good source for when they've lost a lot of protein and a lot of iron. So things like that can make a difference. So absolutely, I love that. So that's a great thing to think about. And then, you know, we're not saying that they don't belong. It's just, you know, or that you need to do anything different as a coach, but just recognize that there are differences. We know now that the female body reacts differently. There are more knee injuries in our young girls than there are boys. The reason for that is girls' quads aren't as strong when they're younger, and they tend to be more, our hips are wider even at a younger age. So our body kind of goes, instead of going straight, it kind of goes wide and then in. So if you think of that reverse triangle, so when they're doing anything, either squats or jumps or whatever, you have to really make sure they're using good form. They just did a study, and it came out where they studied college female athletes. And every time they came to see a trainer with knee injury, they asked where they were in their cycle. 97% of ACL tears or injuries when those female athletes were in the middle of their cycle.
Wow.
So it tells us we need to do more research. What's happening? And they believe that higher level of estrogen is having the elasticity in the ligaments and whatever they're much more elastic and more apt to, you know, tear or break. So we don't want to say, oh my gosh.
High roller, yeah.
You shouldn't do any sports
Same
at all
name.
because your
Same
uterus
name
will
I
fall
would
out. Instead, it's like, how do we fuel them before? So we need to make sure that we're giving that information to our female athletes, 12 and older, that you know.
That'd be 12 and older.
You know, and have them there and have those conversations with them or give them that information to make sure. In hockey, the one nice thing is I've never seen really white hockey shorts, so we don't have to worry about that. But that's really, it's also nice to have some extra, you know, in there, Tide pens, you know, if they do have, you know,
in 1 minute I could do that.
Unexpectedly get their period, well, they're out of practice or whatever. It's really
informative
good
for
that
me.
they have some extra things right there that you can have for them. So just always making sure it's a safe environment. Have your ears open, be listening, sit in the locker room, sit there and really listen to conversations.
We're not allowed in the locker room until
Like
it's
I
time to
said,
talk to
girls can
girls.
be really
We have
nasty to each other.
mothers
They
that
also hear
patrol the
things
girls'
that
locker rooms.
other teams are sniping at them too. Make sure your bathrooms are really stocked. Before you go to a tournament, call and see, are you going to have, you know, what accommodations are you going to make for my female players, my female team? Absolutely. Be their voice,
sure it's
be
happening.
their advocate. Make sure that the equipment fits for girls. There's so many choices out
Do you
there
know how
right
expensive
now that,
all girl equipment is?
you know, absolutely
It is so expensive.
you know, good fits. And the one thing that they're starting to get better at, but our girls who are larger,
Because they want to make money off it.
this is a complaint
Ryan
from
Ultimate.
women who play too.
Kim
Larger
Durbin.
women, there aren't, there's
Walcott.
not equipment that fits. We can't
Luis
wear hockey
Morales at
pants that are
125.
designed for men because
They run
big hips
Arizona.
and smaller waists.
So
and they
Tigers.
fall off of us. So,
Yeah.
you know, it really does make a difference, even their sticks. So, you know, inclusive language, reflection, you know, get to know the female hockey players that are playing college around you.
High roller,
Invite them
it's
to
a
go
tough
and see,
question.
you know, a women's college game.
If you
or
want to do a lot of singles, and you want to do a lot of
the,
small breaks,
PWHL is doing their tour again.
and
so
random breaks,
around you,
I
go
think
watch
Whatnot
some of their
is
games. It's
is
really
that.
nice female model, role model.
I've been on here for
You
5
really need
years,
to be there.
but
That's
like
why it's really important.
times where we don't get more than 5 people on the live too.
Because
It
all
goes
our,
back
you
and
know,
forth.
our
It's
young
really
girls have that. Oh,
really tough
look at
choice.
that, you know,
I think
she's
it's okay to
coaching
go back
too.
and forth, honestly.
And then this is just the coaching her clip. But then that why women's sport coaches matter. Same sex and same identity.
Just made my week. Wife and I are living this. Really?
So we know that. You know, and absolutely, it creates a sense of
Oh, love
belonging.
it.
And somebody already said that in the chat that when we
Yeah,
have
it's
those
supposed to end at
conversations,
11. She's already over it now.
important. So thank you for having those conversations with each other. And it gives us that, you know, another ability. And I will, when we're done, I will send out an email.
They're probably going to deny me of it.
Congratulations for
Make me
completing
redo this
level
again.
2. I will give you
I was
some
laughing during the whole
resources.
thing.
I
You
will
guys are
give
making me
you the
laugh.
site for the coaching her. I will give you, you know, resources that we've gone over, book
I think boys
resources,
got me though.
podcasts, and things like that that are really
What'd she
good.
say about
But
the uterus?
also
The
for
uterus
all
or
of you
something?
female
Boys like,
coaches, we have
yeah, I've blown out a few
that's
myself.
a community of female coaches that have there's such a great source of support for each other. And then we also
Correct.
have monthly bringing in sessions that again is just our community that we're trying to build and help each other.
One more box. One more.
I love the fact that
I'm waiting
all
till
of
she's
you
done
are
though.
here and knowing and hearing this because it's from all of you that says, hey, let's give, you know, all of our females a voice. Let's get more girls into the game and keep more females in the game, whatever they can be. And this is another one that, you know, if you are coaching on a girls team as a male coach, you want to get females that helping involved
it was
and
hilarious.
really have them involved, not
All
just
of them have
standing
been.
there.
I just can't.
37% more retention of girls when females are they're part of their sport. So thank you, coaches, on behalf of all of the females that play hockey, that coach hockey, that are involved in hockey. I appreciate you, you know, wanting to jump in and I apologize. Tonight was more like I wanted to give you some of what is happening and some of those things out there for you too. So yeah, it's absolutely great. So thank you, coaches. If any of you have further questions or whatever, please stay on. Other than that, we're all set. I appreciate your time and your players definitely appreciate your time. And with all of your work, we're just going to continue to make girls hockey stronger. And as we make girls hockey stronger, we're going to continue to make coaching stronger for our females too. Because we already know strong female coaches for sure. So thank you.
Thank
you. Coaches, have a great season.
Yes. All right, I want to let you guys know. This is fucked up. We need to talk about men. We need to talk about men. It just ended, Deborah. Just about. Hey, I give credit to the guys and girls that are in here. At least they'll go through it because I was like whispering and there's almost like an ASMR style. It was a female-based hockey coaching certification, so it was to promote knowledge and female-based, but they really got into the spicy stuff at the very end, and they did that last night too. So they wish they would have like talked about that stuff more at the beginning. Avocado, I know they probably should have talked about that a little bit, honestly, because when it comes down to it, the USA Hockey is what everybody looks to for the rules and guidelines. High roller, yeah, no, I haven't dabbled into it. I've seen it work for a few people. Whenever you do the auctions, you got to brace yourself for losing some too. But once you get the community and they know that you're going to do it consistently, I think it'll be fine. And that's the same thing with Whatnot. It's all about the consistency. So, it's life gets in the way for a lot of things, but some people have the time or they're committed themselves to a full-time gig and, they can get on all the time at a certain date. they have shippers and sorters, and they just roll through things. And it does take an army. So if you got all that, man, I'd go on both, to be honest. But ultimately, you need to grow your Instagram. You need to grow your X or Twitter. Like, those still dominate. You know, those are still preferred for a lot of people in the world. But we're on the last box. I appreciate everybody. Yeah, it was a good question, Roy, though. I appreciate you asking that. Blake Burke, Thomas White, another goal. Damn. Another bookend. Spencer Nivens, 50 out of 50. Let's go to boys. We got Sam Antonassi going to the White Sox. Burkholder, Hernandez, Castillo. I've been into Zooming. I don't even know if I hit. Oh, gosh. Here we go. Yeah, he'll have to wait till his package arrives. Now that we know what tampons he likes. I don't disagree with that. I mean, my daughter's getting to the point where it's, you know, it's in the future here more than anything. So it would be good if that was if the player, the hockey player's first time, you know, and it was near the ice or during the ice time or in the locker room. Like, probably good to have those things, right? Yeah. Oh, just knocked over YouTube. My bad, YouTube. But it is what it is, you know. I mean, ultimately, they're all covered in lots of equipment, but I guess it could somehow leak its way through. And they'll have trauma for the rest of their life. Oh, yeah, the out of 5, I know. It was sick. Avocado, we had a God case the other night. I don't know if you heard about that. We had 80 autographs in the case the other night. It was unbelievable. 80. Chase DeLauder. Samuel Basayo at 75. Luke Adams. Oh, you were there? Okay, my bad. Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, I think only 20 people were in here, so. I did brag about it to some people, and they were like, "Oh my!" Nobody saw it. Nobody's seen the God case yet. So I've been trying to think of a creative way to make my video to kind of promote it too, and just, I don't know, brag about it, right? But you got to sit down and really put some time into it. We got Josh here. One first off the print line. Xavier Isaac, Johnny Farmello, Super Shots. What's up, man? Did you ever get your Kaboom? Come on, baby. Chase Harlan going to the Dodgers out of 299. Connor Griffin. Jabez Shears out of 125. Auto Gage Miller out of 199. Marlins. Two more packs. No, technically, no. You're right, Mark. You think we got something big coming up here? Let's hope. Drew Beam. Slade Caldwell. Caleb Durbin. Last one. Shang In Lin to the Reds. Nick Kurtz. Kevin McGonigal. Gerald Perez out of 199. That was it. Well, humbling for sure after that big God case, but I appreciate you guys keeping me awake, getting through the training. Yeah, because I was originally just going to hop on like when it was over and start to fill up then. I'm sure it would have been a long fill too. You think so, Jeremy? Well, I appreciate you guys letting us have a little fun. All right, boys. 10-4, brother. Not too bad showing. Not too bad of a showing. Yeah. Yeah. Once I knew I wouldn't have to do too many of those breakout rooms, I felt better about it. But I just wouldn't have been able to sit there and open and smirk, and because I was always like working with another group, like, and they're watching you on the camera, obviously. So yeah, let me do a little recap here before you guys go. We got Caleb Durbin, Luke Adams, Blake Mitchell, gold to Dylan Head, Pablo Guerrero out of 99, Dante Nori out of 25, Braylon Doughty out of 50, Zaire Hope out of 175, Nick Kurtz out of 150, Brandon Sprode out of 25. There we go. You got it, Roland. Nice hit on the Angels. We got Dante Nori, Lazaro Montes, Emiliano Teodo, Jonathan Long, Bryce Cunningham, Jeremy Rodriguez, Ty Pete, Luis Aldia out of 25. There's a lot of color. We got Cole Mathis out of 150. Cody Freeman out of 50 on the gold. Cobb Hightower, Chase Burns, Ian Smith, Nick Mitchell, Joshua Kuroda Grauer out of 199. Hung Chen out of 99, Jason Churio. Malcolm Moore out of 99. Gage Miller out of 199. Samuel Basayo out of 75. Blake Burke out of 175. Sam Antonassi out of 99. Out of 50 out of Spencer Nivens. Ronnie Green, Boston Bateman out of 99. Carson DiMartini out of 199. Nick Morabito, Travis Bazzana, Juan Baez, Samuel Basayo, Engleth Urena, Jeremy Rodriguez, Blake Mitchell. Oh, I did those guys already. We got Kadeem Dial, Cooper Pratt, 150 out of 150, bookend. Slade Caldwell, Nick Morabito, Luis Amadia, Kadeem Dial, Eduardo Tate out of 199, Connor Griffin out of 199, Yermi Cabrera, Emiliano Teodo out of 99, Brody Hopkins out of 99, George Walcow on the base auto. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab here. All right, here we go. We have Michael Arroyo out of 150. Fenwick Tremble out of 25. Sorry, out of 50. That's out of 50. We have Bryce Eldridge out of 150. Bryce Eldridge again out of 70. Out of 50. Sorry, that was gold. Aaron Damala out of 10. Isabel Gonzalez out of 25. We got Theon Lorenzo out of 199. Franklin Arias out of 50. 50 out of 50. Kellen Lindsay, 86 out of 99. Chris Cortez out of 25. Tremar Johnson, Tremar out of 150. Nice pitch. Ashley Vargas, Warner Janik out of 199. Cody Brecht out of 199. JJ Weatherholt out of 75. And a Jared Sundstrom red 1 out of 5 on the Jared. Let's go. Appreciate y'all. There are still some numbered on top loaded, but I promise you they'll be in your packages. Yep. Thanks, guys. I'm jetting for a hockey tournament, but if I can find a local card shop, I might grab a couple loose boxes and run something there too. So keep an eye out for me. Otherwise, I'll see you at the beginning of the week, like a Monday night or Monday afternoon. All right. And maybe late Sunday too. We'll see. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great Friday. Appreciate you coming in again. See you later. Peace out.